Dramily.com, unlimited drama series.
My 5-year-old son, Tyler, handed me his latest masterpiece, with the kind of pride only a kindergartner can muster. Look, Daddy, I drew our secret treasure map. The crayon drawing showed our house, complete with stick figures of our family, and what looked like a rainbow leading to a pot of gold behind our garage. Classic kid stuff. I ruffled his hair and snapped a photo, posting it to Facebook with the caption, Tyler's latest artwork. Apparently, we have buried treasure in our backyard. Within 3 minutes, my phone exploded. Jake, delete that post right now! Lisa's voice shrieked through the speaker so loud that Tyler jumped. Lisa, my brother Danny's ex-wife, the woman who'd made his life hell for 2 years before disappearing with half his savings. We hadn't spoken in 8 years. Lisa, how did you even get this number? Delete it. Don't let Tyler play in the backyard. Oh God, this is a disaster. She was hyperventilating. The terrible truth. It's my stash. He found my stash. I stared at the innocent drawing again. The treasure Tyler had drawn was positioned exactly where Lisa used to park her car when she'd visit us years ago, back when Danny was deployed overseas and she'd come crying about her loneliness. Your stash of what exactly? The money, the jewelry. Everything I took from Danny, I buried it there before the divorce. I was going to come back for it, but then you all moved and I thought it was gone forever. The pieces clicked together like a perfectly engineered trap. Lisa had stolen from my brother, buried the evidence in our backyard, and now my innocent kid had accidentally exposed her secret to the entire internet. Please, Jake, I'll split it with you. 50-50. Just delete the post and dig it up before anyone else sees. I looked at Tyler, who was now coloring another picture, completely oblivious to the chaos he'd unleashed. Then I looked at my wife, Samantha, who was typing furiously on her phone in the kitchen, probably working late again. Always working late these days. Sure, Lisa, come over tonight. We'll dig it up together. Really? Oh, thank God, Jake, you're saving my life. Yeah, I said, already planning. I'm going to save your life, all right. That evening, Lisa showed up with a shovel and the kind of nervous energy that screams guilt. She'd aged badly. Too much Botox, too much desperation, too much of everything that money can't actually buy. Where exactly did you bury it? I asked, leading her to the backyard where I'd already set up my phone to record. Right there behind the old oak tree. I put it in a waterproof container, about 3 feet down. Interesting. Tyler, come here, buddy. My son ran over, still in his pajamas. Are we really digging for treasure, Daddy? We sure are. But first, Lisa has something to tell you about your drawing. Lisa's face went white. Jake, what are you doing? Tyler, remember how you drew that treasure map? Well, it turns out Lisa here buried some very special treasure in our yard. She wants to tell you all about it. I held up my phone, making sure the camera caught everything. Go ahead, Lisa. Tell Tyler about the treasure you stole from Uncle Danny. I didn't steal anything. Really? Then why are you here with a shovel, begging me to dig up money and jewelry you buried without permission in my backyard? Tyler looked confused. Is Lisa a pirate, Daddy? Something like that, buddy. Lisa lunged for my phone, but I'd expected that. I stepped back and triggered the confetti cannon I'd rigged behind the tree, the same spot where she claimed her treasure was buried. Pink and gold confetti exploded everywhere, covering Lisa in sparkles and shame. Tyler squealed with delight, thinking it was part of the game. Surprise, I announced to the camera. The real treasure was the lies we buried along the way. You bastard! There's no treasure, is there? Oh, there's treasure all right. See, I called Danny this afternoon. Turns out he's been looking for you for 8 years. Something about unpaid alimony and a warrant for theft. He's very excited to know where you are now. Lisa's face crumbled. You can't do this to me. Watch me. I ended the recording and immediately sent it to Danny, along with Lisa's current address and phone number. Tyler, say goodbye to Pirate Lisa. She's about to take a very long voyage. As Lisa stumbled away, covered in confetti and defeat, I felt something I hadn't experienced in months. Satisfaction. Pure, undiluted satisfaction. It was a feeling I was about to become very familiar with. 3 weeks after the Lisa incident, I found Samantha's burner phone. Not because she was sloppy, my wife was many things, but careless wasn't one of them. No, I found it because she'd been working so many late nights that she'd started doing laundry at odd hours, and the phone fell out of her blazer pocket when I moved the clothes to the dryer. The password was our anniversary date, amateur hour. I sat in our laundry room, surrounded by the domestic debris of our 10-year marriage, and scrolled through messages that made my stomach turn inside out. Can't wait to feel you inside me again. Samantha sent yesterday at 2:47 p.m. Your husband is such a boring little man. How do you stand it? Brent sent last Tuesday. He has no idea. Sometimes I think he's too stupid to figure it out. Samantha sent this morning. Brent? I knew Brent. Tall, successful architect from Samantha's firm. The guy she'd brought to our last Christmas party, introducing him as her brilliant colleague, while I served him drinks and made small talk about the Patriots. The phone contained 3 months of messages, hotel receipts, and photos that would make a porn star blush. But what really got to me wasn't the infidelity, it was the amateur hour of it all. The stupid password, the careless hiding, the sheer disrespect of it. If you're going to destroy a marriage, at least have the courtesy to do it with style. I scrolled to their most recent conversation. Jake's working late tomorrow, come over around 8. Samantha, your place? That's risky. Brent, he'll be at that stupid boxing gym until 10. We'll have plenty of time. Samantha, tomorrow was tonight, and I wasn't working late. I carefully placed the phone back in her blazer pocket and went upstairs to kiss Tyler goodnight. He was building a Lego castle, completely absorbed in his innocent world, where the biggest betrayal was when someone stepped on your creation. Daddy, will you help me build a dungeon for the bad guys? Absolutely, buddy. Every castle needs a good dungeon. At 7:30, I told Samantha I was heading to Richie's boxing gym. She barely looked up from her laptop. Have fun, honey, don't wait up. I have a big presentation tomorrow. I'm sure you do. Instead of going to the gym, I parked across the street from our house and waited. At exactly 8:03, Brent's silver BMW pulled into our driveway. I watched him walk up to my front door, carrying flowers and a bottle of wine, like he was taking my wife on a proper date. In my house, in my bed, with my son sleeping upstairs. I started the car and followed them to dinner. Not to my house. Apparently even cheaters have some boundaries. They went to Romano's, the expensive Italian place downtown, where Samantha always said we couldn't afford to eat. I parked in the garage across the street and watched them through the restaurant window. Samantha wore the red dress I'd bought her for her birthday. Brent kept touching her hand across the table. They looked happy. Disgustingly, authentically happy. That's when I decided to stop being the boring little man who didn't know what was happening. I walked into Romano's and approached their table. Samantha, what a surprise. She went white. Brent started choking on his wine. Jake, what are you doing here? Richie canceled, so I thought I'd grab some takeout. But this is perfect. I can finally meet your colleague properly. I extended my hand to Brent. Jake Morrison, the husband. Brent's handshake was weak and sweaty. Brent Collins. We were just discussing the Henderson project. At 8:30 at night? Wow, you guys really are dedicated. I pulled up a chair. Mind if I join? I love hearing about Samantha's work. Actually, we were just finishing up, Samantha said quickly. Nonsense, I insist. Waiter, I flagged down the server. Could you bring me a menu? And another bottle of whatever they're drinking. It's not every day I get to meet my wife's favorite colleague. For the next hour, I made them sit through the most uncomfortable dinner of their lives. I asked Brent detailed questions about his wife, recently divorced, how convenient. I shared embarrassing stories about Samantha's college days. I insisted on paying the check. This has been wonderful. I announced as we prepared to leave. We should do this again soon. Maybe you could come over for dinner this weekend? I make a mean lasagna. That's, uh, that's very kind, Brent stammered. Great. Saturday at 7. I'll tell Tyler we're having company. He loves meeting new people. As we walked to our cars, Samantha grabbed my arm. What the hell was that about? What do you mean? I was being friendly to your colleague. Isn't that what good husbands do? She stared at me for a long moment, trying to read my face. But I'd learned a thing or two about deception lately. I'll see you at home, she said finally. Actually, I think I will hit the gym after all. Don't wait up. I drove to Richie's place and told him everything. Richie had been my friend since high school, back when we both thought we'd conquer the world with our fists and our charm. Now, he ran a small boxing gym and gave advice to guys like me who'd forgotten how to fight. So, what's your play? He asked, handing me a beer. I'm still working on that. You want my advice? Document everything, get a lawyer, and take her for every penny she's worth. That's the smart play. But I keep thinking about Lisa. How satisfying it was to watch her get exactly what she deserved. Richie grinned. You want to get creative. I want to get even. Mrs. Krantz had lived next door for 15 years and knew everything about everyone within a 6-block radius. She was the human equivalent of Facebook's algorithm, always watching, always listening, always ready to share information with anyone who'd listen, which made her the perfect weapon. I found her in her garden the next morning, pruning roses with the dedication of a surgeon. Morning, Mrs. Krantz. Beautiful roses this year. Why, thank you, Jake. How's that sweet boy of yours? Tyler's great, growing up so fast. I paused, letting the silence build. Actually, I wanted to ask you something. Have you noticed any unusual activity around our place lately? Her eyes lit up like Christmas morning. Unusual how? Well, Samantha's been working such long hours, and yesterday I could have sworn I saw a car in our driveway when I got home. Silver BMW. But when I asked her about it, she said she'd been at the office all evening. Mrs. Krantz set down her pruning shears. A silver BMW, you said? Yeah, probably nothing, but with all the break-ins lately... Oh my, well, now that you mention it, I have seen that car before. Several times, actually. Always when you're not home. Really? When? Tuesday afternoons, mostly, and last week, Thursday evening. The driver always goes to your front door, stays for an hour or two. I frowned, playing the concerned husband perfectly. That's strange. Samantha never mentioned having visitors. Well, I'm sure there's an innocent explanation, Mrs. Krantz said, but her tone suggested she hoped there wasn't. I'm sure you're right, although... I let my voice trail off. Although what, dear? It's probably nothing, but Samantha's been getting a lot of phone calls lately. Always steps outside to take them. Says it's work, but she seems awfully secretive about it. Mrs. Krantz was practically vibrating with excitement. Oh my. And she's been dressing differently. New clothes, expensive perfume. Says it's for client meetings, but you're worried. I don't want to be that husband, you know? The suspicious, controlling type. But something feels off. Mrs. Krantz reached over and patted my arm. Trust your instincts, Jake. Women's intuition isn't the only kind that matters. By noon, Mrs. Krantz had called her sister, her book club, and the lady who ran the church bake sale. By evening, half the neighborhood was watching our house with renewed interest. The beautiful thing about small-town gossip is its inevitability. Once you plant the seed, it grows without any further cultivation required. That night, Samantha came home from another late meeting and found me in the kitchen, making Tyler's lunch for school. How was your day? She asked, kissing my cheek, with lips that had probably been on Brent an hour earlier. Interesting. I ran into Mrs. Krantz this morning. She mentioned seeing a silver BMW in our driveway several times when I wasn't home. Samantha froze for just a moment, not long enough for most people to notice, but I was watching for it. Oh, that. Probably one of my clients. You know how they are about meeting at the office. Which client drives a BMW? I'm not sure. Why does it matter? It doesn't. I just thought it was weird that you never mentioned having clients over. I don't mention every detail of my workday, Jake. Just like you don't tell me about every person you talk to at your job. She was getting defensive. Good. You're right. Sorry for being nosy. I sealed Tyler's sandwich in a baggie. Oh, by the way, I invited Brent over for dinner Saturday night. Hope that's okay. You what? I ran into him at Romano's last night. What a coincidence that was. And I thought it would be nice to have him over. Tyler's excited to meet one of Mommy's work friends. Samantha stared at me like I'd announced I was joining the circus. You can't just invite people over without asking me first. Why not? He's your colleague. I assumed you'd be happy to socialize with him outside of work. It's not about that. It's about coordination. What if I'd already made plans? Had you? No, but that's not the point. Then what is the point? She opened her mouth to answer, then closed it again. How do you explain that you can't have your lover over for dinner with your husband and child without admitting you have a lover? Never mind, she said finally. I'm sure it will be fine. Great. I'm thinking lasagna, garlic bread, maybe that tiramisu you love from the bakery downtown. Sounds perfect. But her smile looked like it was causing her physical pain. Saturday evening arrived with the kind of autumn chill that makes you want to stay inside with people you love. Unfortunately for Samantha and Brent,
187 messages to your gym partner? She's just a friend. Don't send photos like.
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
they were stuck inside with me. I'd spent all day preparing. Not just the food, though the lasagna was genuinely spectacular, but the psychological battlefield. I'd rearranged the living room so Brent would have to sit directly across from our wedding photos. I'd put Tyler's latest artwork on the refrigerator, including a new drawing of Mommy and Daddy and me that he'd made specifically for our guest. I'd even dug out our wedding album and left it casually open on the coffee table. Brent arrived at exactly 7 o'clock, carrying flowers for Samantha and a bottle of wine that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. He looked like he was attending his own execution. Brent, welcome to our home. I shook his hand with excessive enthusiasm. Tyler, come meet Mr. Collins. Tyler bounded into the room wearing his favorite dinosaur shirt. Are you the man who helps Mommy build houses? Something like that, buddy. Cool. Do you want to see my Lego castle? I built a dungeon for bad guys. Tyler, Samantha interrupted quickly. Maybe after dinner. Actually, I'd love to see it now, I said. Brent, you have to check this out. Tyler's got real architectural talent. Must run in the family. I led them to Tyler's room, where his Lego masterpiece dominated the floor. It was actually impressive. A sprawling castle complete with towers, walls, and, yes, a dungeon. This is incredible, Tyler, Brent said, and I could tell he meant it. You're going to be a great architect someday. Like Mommy? Maybe even better. Tyler beamed. For a moment, I almost felt bad for what I was about to do to this man. Then I remembered the photos on Samantha's phone. Tyler, why don't you show Mr. Collins how the drawbridge works while I check on dinner? In the kitchen, Samantha cornered me. What are you doing? Making dinner for your colleague. Isn't that what you wanted? You're being weird, Jake. Really weird. Weird how? I'm being friendly. You're being too friendly. It's making everyone uncomfortable. Everyone? Or just you? Before she could answer, Tyler's voice called from the living room. Daddy, Mr. Collins wants to see your wedding pictures. I smiled at Samantha. Duty calls. Dinner was a masterpiece of passive-aggressive theater. I seated Brent directly across from Samantha with Tyler between them. So every time they tried to make eye contact, they had to look past my 5-year-old son. I told embarrassing stories about our early marriage, asked Brent detailed questions about his divorce, and made sure his wine glass never went empty. So Brent, I said as I served the tiramisu, Samantha tells me you two work very closely together. We collaborate on several projects, yes. That must be nice, having such a good working relationship. Samantha's always talking about how much she enjoys working with you. Samantha kicked me under the table. Jake, what? I'm just saying it's great that you enjoy your job so much. All those late nights, weekend meetings. It shows real dedication. Brent was sweating despite the air conditioning. We're very committed to our clients. I'm sure you are. Tyler, tell Mr. Collins about your drawing from yesterday. Tyler launched into an elaborate explanation of his latest artwork, a family portrait featuring Mommy, Daddy, and himself at the beach. As he talked, I watched Brent and Samantha avoid looking at each other, both of them probably thinking about the family they were helping to destroy. After Tyler went to bed, I brought out the good whiskey. This is really excellent, Brent said, clearly trying to fill the uncomfortable silence. Thanks. It was a wedding gift from Samantha's father. He said it was for celebrating special occasions. I raised my glass. To new friendships. We drank. Samantha excused herself to use the bathroom and stayed gone for 10 minutes. She's probably calling someone, I told Brent conversationally. She gets a lot of work calls in the evenings. Very dedicated to her clients. Right, yes, very dedicated. Sometimes I wonder if she's too dedicated, you know? Like, maybe she's giving too much of herself to her work. But I suppose that's the price of success. Brent nodded miserably. The thing is, I continued, I trust her completely. Some husbands get paranoid, start imagining things that aren't there. But not me. I know Samantha would never do anything to hurt our family. That's good. Because if someone was taking advantage of her dedication, using it against her somehow, that would be really terrible, don't you think? Brent's glass was shaking slightly. Absolutely. When Samantha returned, I announced that it was getting late and we should probably wrap up the evening. This has been wonderful, I said, walking Brent to the door. We should definitely do it again soon. Maybe next time you could bring a date? I'd love to meet whoever you're seeing. I'm not really dating anyone right now. Really? A successful, attractive guy like you? I find that hard to believe. I'm just focused on work right now. Well, when you do start dating again, make sure she's someone special. Someone worth the risk. I shook his hand one more time, holding it just a beat too long. Drive safely, Brent. The roads can be dangerous when you're not paying attention. After he left, Samantha exploded. What the hell was that? What was what? I thought it went great. Tyler really liked him. You were torturing him, and me. I was being hospitable. Sorry if my social skills aren't up to your standards. Your social skills? Jake, you were practically interrogating the man. Was I? I thought I was just making conversation. She stared at me for a long moment, and I could see the wheels turning. She was trying to figure out how much I knew, how much I suspected, how much danger she was in. I'm going to bed, she said finally. Good idea. You look tired. All that hard work must be catching up with you. I stayed downstairs and poured myself another whiskey. Through the window, I could see Mrs. Krantz's curtains twitching. She'd probably been watching the whole evening, taking notes. By tomorrow morning, the entire neighborhood would know that Samantha's work colleague had been to our house for dinner, and that it had been awkward as hell. The seed was planted. Now I just had to wait for it to grow. The explosion came 2 weeks later at Tyler's school art night. I should have seen it coming. Samantha had been increasingly tense, snapping at Tyler over minor things, working even later hours. She'd also started being more careful with her phone, never leaving it unattended, always taking it to the bathroom. But she'd made one crucial mistake. She'd underestimated how much Mrs. Krantz loved to talk. The school gymnasium was packed with parents admiring their children's masterpieces. Tyler's latest creation, a watercolor of our family at the beach, was displayed prominently near the entrance. He was so proud, dragging us from person to person to show it off. Look what Tyler painted, Mrs. Krantz said loudly as we approached his display. Such a lovely family portrait. It's nice to see families that still spend quality time together. Her emphasis on still was subtle, but unmistakable. Several other parents glanced over, and I could see the recognition in their eyes. They'd heard the rumors. Thank you, Mrs. Krantz, Samantha said tightly. Tyler is very artistic. He gets that from his mother, I added. Samantha's always been creative. She finds all sorts of interesting ways to spend her time. Samantha shot me a warning look, but I was just getting started. That's when Brent walked in. He wasn't supposed to be there. He didn't have kids. But there he was, scanning the room like he was looking for someone specific. Oh, look, I said loudly enough for several nearby parents to hear. It's Brent Collins from Samantha's firm. What a surprise to see him here. Brent spotted us and approached with the enthusiasm of a man walking to the gallows. Jake, Samantha, what a coincidence. Isn't it? I agreed. I didn't know you had children in the school. I don't. I'm here with a friend. How nice. Anyone we know? Before Brent could answer, Megan Walsh appeared at his side. Megan was another architect from Samantha's firm, recently divorced, and apparently Samantha's closest friend. She was also stunning in that predatory, ambitious way that makes smart men stupid. Samantha, Megan air-kissed my wife's cheeks. I dragged Brent along for moral support. You know how awkward these school things can be when you're single. Moral support, I repeated. That's what friends are for. The four of them stood there in an awkward cluster, while Tyler tugged on my hand, wanting to show me more artwork. I could feel the tension radiating off them like heat from a furnace. Tyler, why don't you show Mr. Collins and Ms. Walsh your painting? I suggested. Okay, this is me and Mommy and Daddy at the beach. We built sandcastles, and Daddy taught me to swim, and Mommy read her book. It's beautiful, sweetheart, Megan said, but she was looking at Samantha, not the painting. We should go, Samantha said suddenly. It's getting late. Already? But we just got here, and I'm sure Brent and Megan would love to see more of Tyler's work. He's got a real talent for capturing family moments. Actually, we should probably go too, Brent said quickly. Together? I asked innocently. How convenient. Megan laughed, but it sounded forced. We came together, so it makes sense to leave together. Of course it does. Well, it was great seeing you both. Enjoy the rest of your evening. As they hurried toward the exit, I called after them. Drive safely. The roads can be tricky when you're not familiar with the area. Samantha grabbed my arm. We need to talk, now. She dragged me to a corner of the gymnasium, Tyler trailing behind us. What the hell do you think you're doing? I'm not sure what you mean. You know exactly what I mean. The comments, the looks, the way you're acting around Brent. I'm being friendly to your colleagues. Isn't that what good husbands do? You're being an ass, Jake, and you're embarrassing me. Embarrassing you? How? By acting like some paranoid, jealous husband who thinks his wife is cheating on him. The words hung in the air between us like a challenge. Around us, other parents were starting to notice our heated conversation. Is that what I'm acting like? I asked quietly. Yes. Huh. Well, maybe that's because some paranoid, jealous husbands turn out to be right. Her face went white. What's that supposed to mean? It means I know about the burner phone, Samantha. I know about the hotel receipts. I know about the Tuesday afternoon meetings and the Thursday evening conferences and all the other creative names you've come up with for fucking Brent Collins. She opened her mouth to deny it, but nothing came out. Daddy? Tyler's small voice cut through the tension. Why are you and Mommy yelling? I knelt down to his level. We're not yelling, buddy. We're just having a grown-up conversation. Why don't you go look at some more paintings while Mommy and I finish talking? Tyler wandered off, and I stood back up to face my wife. How long have you known? She whispered. Long enough. Jake, I can explain. No, you can't. There's no explanation that makes this okay. There's no excuse that makes it hurt less. There's no story you can tell that changes what you've done to our family. Tears started running down her cheeks. It just happened. I didn't plan it. Bullshit. Affairs don't just happen. You made choices. Every text message, every hotel reservation, every lie you told me and Tyler, those were choices. You don't understand. You've been so distant lately, so wrapped up in your own problems. So, this is my fault? That's not what I meant. Yes, it is. That's exactly what you meant. Poor Samantha, stuck with her boring husband who works too much and doesn't pay enough attention to her. So, she had no choice but to find comfort in the arms of her colleague. Jake, please. Please what? Please forgive you? Please pretend this never happened. Please keep being the stupid, trusting husband who doesn't know what's going on. By now, several parents were openly staring at us. I could see Mrs. Krantz in the crowd, her eyes wide with excitement at witnessing the drama she'd helped orchestrate. You want to know what the worst part is? I continued, my voice rising. It's not the cheating. It's not even the lying. It's the complete lack of respect. The way you've been treating me like I'm too stupid to figure it out. The way you've been laughing about it with him. We never laughed about you. Really? Because I've seen the text messages. He has no idea. Sometimes I think he's too stupid to figure it out. Ring any bells? She closed her eyes. You went through my phone. I found your phone. There's a difference. How can you possibly justify invading my privacy like that? Privacy? You lost the right to privacy the moment you started fucking someone else in our bed. The gymnasium went dead quiet. Every conversation stopped. Every parent, teacher, and child turned to stare at us. Tyler came running back, tears in his eyes. "Daddy, why did you say a bad word?" I picked him up, my heart breaking for what this was doing to him. "I'm sorry, buddy. Daddy's just upset right now. Are you and Mommy getting divorced like Tommy's parents?" The question hit me like a punch to the gut. "We'll talk about it later, okay? Right now, let's just go home." As we walked toward the exit, I could hear the whispers starting behind us. By tomorrow, everyone in town would know that Jake Morrison's wife was cheating on him with her colleague, and that he'd found out about it at his son's school art night. It wasn't how I'd planned to expose her, but it would do. In the parking lot, Samantha caught up with us. "Jake, wait. We need to figure out how to handle this." "Handle what? The affair or the fact that everyone knows about it now?" "Both. We have to think about Tyler." "Now, you're worried about Tyler? Where was that concern when you were bringing your boyfriend to our son's school?" "Brent's not my boyfriend." "What is he then? Your fuck buddy? Your side piece? Your midlife crisis?" "He's..." She struggled for the words. "It's complicated." "No, it's not. It's actually very simple. You're married to me, but you're sleeping with him. That's called adultery, and it's grounds for divorce." "Is that what you want? A divorce?" I looked at my son, who was clinging to me like I was the only stable thing in his world. Then I looked at my wife, who had destroyed our family for a few moments of excitement, with a man who was probably already planning his exit strategy. What I want is for this to have never happened. But since that's not possible, I want you to understand that there are consequences for what you've done. And those consequences are just getting started.